The headline says, PM warns unite or lose poll. Scott Morrison has warned coalition MPs the federal election will be lost if they are not a unified force in an 11th hour clarion call for his team to get behind landmark religious discrimination reforms in the first contentious parliamentary vote of the year. The Prime Minister's demand for unity came after a marathon party room meeting at which the coalition endorsed the updated religious discrimination bill and the Sex Discrimination Act amendment, despite reservations about potential impacts on gay teachers and transgender children, expressed by moderate Liberal MPs, including Trent Zimmerman, Katie Allen, Andrew Bragg and Warren Entsch. Caro, what's your take on all of this? I was speaking to our good mate Gemma Tognini last night because obviously this has been floating around for quite some time, since 2019.
Yep.
How do you think that this is going to play for the government tomorrow, considering what we know we're going to have Brittany Higgins and Grace Tame presenting at the National Press Club? Do you think that maybe the government would like that distraction tomorrow to see how this bill sails through at least the lower house?
Well, if they can get it through the lower house. So I saw something just before I came on air. I understand that the party room has finally got to a position. I'm not sure if something has gone in or out. I mean, I haven't been following this really closely, but I understand the bill's getting skinnier as it goes along. So let's hope it's more than a head note by the time it makes it to the lower house. The thing is, you know, the PM talks about unity, and I guess this is something that has been in the works for a long time, but there are plenty of other things that the government really should be focusing on, particularly if they, you know, if we're talking about winning the election here. I don't think the election's going to be won or lost on this. I think there's far more meatier things that the electorate is looking to, you know, actual reform, taxation reform, immigration reform. What is the road out of this? Energy reform, costs of living. That is the stuff that is going to win an election, and that is the stuff that the Liberal Party needs to take a values-based position on. Yes, this is something that, you know, a win is always good, and if they get it through, it will be good. But I don't think this one here is the hill that everyone's going to be dying on.
Yeah, it's really interesting because you even get the sense that the opposition are pretty much hands-off, going, we're just sort of going to let you guys, given that you give you enough rope to sort of hang yourselves, because no one, I don't think they're ever going to go to, as a campaign platform, to be like, well, remember that religious freedom bill and that discrimination bill that they didn't get passed? That means you can't trust them. So I think you're right. I think they have far better, more liberal values-based legislation that they should focus on, considering what we've all been dealing with for the past 3 years with COVID.
Yeah, correct. Absolutely correct. And the other thing in relation to the ALP, they probably don't want to take too much of a position on this. You know, they've got seats in Western Sydney where you've got big migrant populations, often religious populations, big Muslim community. Those people are interested in having their religious freedoms protected as well. This here gets bandied around like it's the Catholic bill, but it's not the Catholic bill. This doesn't just affect Catholicism and Christianity. This affects all religions. Yeah. And I think they don't want to say too much because they probably don't want to upset a big chunk of their voting base, particularly in Western Sydney.
Yeah, for sure. Look, and I think if you're like someone like me, probably don't want to say too much because we don't really understand what's actually going on at this point in time, but I digress.